Grant Cardone in the house. So let's dive in. You said that Lewis Howes challenged you to make how much money in what period of time?
Well, I was talking to Lewis. I wrote a book called The 10X Rule, and Lewis says, "Hey, what are your targets right now?" I said, "Well, I'm gonna do a deal for like, what did I tell him? 90 million." He's like, "Why not 900 million? What about the 10X thing, Grant?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "But dude, I got to work in increments." And then he just started hammering me about this $900 million. So I said, "You know what, man? Now that you're saying that, I don't know what I have been thinking about." I said, "It's the same effort, same energy, same resources, same risk, just a much bigger payoff." So the dude, he really got inside my head.
Using your own information on you.
Yeah, totally, right? So the next day, not even 24 hours. I mean, it got into it just shows you the power of the mind when somebody really makes a decision. Not just the law of attraction stuff, but I'm talking about when somebody really says, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna go for that." The next deal, I did a deal for $90 million.
The next
day,
deal.
1 week later, maybe 6 days later, I did a deal for 107. So in those 2 days, it's
You're about almost 200 million.
197 million. I've done 25% of what he challenged me to do.
So I think what's interesting about that is that most people look at somebody like you or Tony Robbins or John Assaraf and they think that they've already got it figured out and that they don't follow what the same stuff is that they teach.
Yeah.
But yet you had Lewis Howes throw back at you your own 10X rule, and then you ended up making $200 million because
Well, you know, I am a guy that I'm trying to figure it out. I'm not, I'm billionaire in the making. So
which is humble because a lot of people just are like, Grant Cardone. And you're like, I'm not even started. I'm trying to get to the billions.
Every night I tell my wife, we're about to make it. We're gonna make it. We're getting closer, right? I'm putting the wood on the fire. It's about to become a bonfire. And so I don't think I've made it by any means because I'm measuring against my potential. So I'm looking at what I think I can do. I'm looking at what I've seen other people do. It's inspirational to me, and I have not figured it out. Now, that being said, I take really strong positions on what I think I'm right about. I'm not trying to convince other people. I'm just like, this is what I do. I know, I have to know I'm right.
I love that you brought up full potential. You were saying in one of your interviews I was listening to how you didn't feel like up until the age of 45, you were even trying to achieve your full potential. Tell us about that.
From 25 to 45 years old. I was broke at 25. At 45, I was worth probably, I don't know. I mean, I was worth 10 or 15 million bucks.
But not even close to your potential, obviously.
Well, I knew I
you
was.
did $200 million.
But I started getting comfortable. I started getting seduced by the idea that I had done more than other people. You know, my mom said, "Oh my God, you've done so good." You know, people, "Oh, you've done so good." And I started buying the freaking, the pitch.
How did you get out of that though? Because
well, this is what happened, right? So what happens is on this planet, if anybody that's out there that gets comfortable, you will always be punished for being comfortable. The entire middle class in America should have had their massive wake-up call in 2008 and 2009. So I don't know if it's God, some spiritual law, or whatever. Somebody came down with a finger and said, "Hey, you rested, you got comfortable, let me show you what I can," and they just pulled the rug out, right? So I watched all this wealth that I had spent 20 years creating just go out with the tide. When I got married and started having kids, that's when I was like, "Hey, you need to get your freaking act here on point." And so I'm in beast mode every day, trying to reach for what I can do, not what I have done.
So how do you start something like that inside of yourself and ignite that flame? Because for you, obviously something happened from 25 to 45, but then you got comfortable. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs, they do play the comparison game. And you're either looking ahead of yourself, like that guy's doing better than me, and it makes you feel bad. Or I'm doing way better than all these people, though, so it makes me feel comfortable.
Yeah.
How do we get out of comparing ourselves and just strive for our best self?
They're both disastrous.
Yeah.
Comparing to the guy above you and below, they're both disastrous, right?
Do you ever do that? Do you ever get caught up in that game? I know I do.
Well, the only one I worry about is getting caught up in the I'm doing better than everybody else.
Yeah.
That's the one I worry about. That's the destructive one, okay? I'm not talking about I'm not worried about being 25 and broke again. I'm worried about the middle place. And
that's one of your passions is get out of the middle class, avoid being in the middle class.
The middle class is the most hypnotized group of people in the world. You know, it's the people that are safe that are most at risk. It's not
the advice?
The people that are at risk know they're at risk. The people that are safe are the ones that are like, don't understand. Hey, man, something bad is going to happen to you, right? Bad things happen to good people every day. Now, we don't know what it's going to be. It's going to be a cyber attack, shuts down the stores, shuts down the internet. You can't transact. You can't do business. You can't use a credit card. You can't, like, you're going to look around and say, I can't take care of my family, man. So I don't want that to happen to me. So I don't compare myself to guys that are, I know billionaires. I don't compare myself to them. I want to get with those guys, share my ideas, and they're always the ones that say, you can do it.
So I think that's good advice. I think a lot of people live in the middle class that are watching this right now. Yeah. And I think you have a large following of young people. So obviously that's a great piece of advice. What's another piece of advice for the young people tuning in that you wish you had when you were starting out?
Dude, I wish somebody had told me to get rich. I would tell the millennial, just real quick, dude, get rich. You know, get rich.
So they got to buy the book to figure that out, because that's a long conversation about how to get rich.
We need to do more of these interviews about how to get rich. You know, people. There's three things people don't know about money. They don't know how to make it, they don't know how to keep it, and they definitely don't know, number three, how to multiply it.
So social media is one of the ways that you're making it, keeping it, and multiplying it. Let's get some quick little tips for the people out there, because I think nowadays there's so much bad advice about how to use social media to build a personal brand, to sell stuff online, which I want to talk about. But what are some quick tips you have for people out there to actually make money with social media?
Well, I don't make money with social media, okay? So what I do is I get attention with social media, and attention precedes ever getting money, you know? The money I don't have today, you have. Somebody else has the money.
You always say, who's got my money?
Who's got my money, right? This should be your battle cry. So with social media, I'm not looking to get money from someone. I'm looking to get their attention. Attention precedes the ability to get the money. You don't just get money. You got to get attention first, right? So you walk into a store, you're walking into Whole Foods, or you're walking into Publix or Safeway or wherever you walked into, right? You went in there for prunes, and you're walking out with Corona. They got your attention. The Corona got your attention. You didn't go there for that. So you have to grab somebody's attention. It's like a connection. You're not going to keep it. It's not a relationship you're going to have forever. It's a distribution channel. It's a road, right? I grew up in Louisiana. Look, you got to get somewhere. The roads can be muddy. You might need a canoe. You might need the bayou. You might need the lake. You might need a highway, right? Whatever road is necessary. So for me, the problem with social media is people are becoming so dependent upon it. They don't know how to pick up the phone and call somebody. They don't know how to talk to anybody.
Hide behind the computer and the social media and the fake videos.
They're becoming so dependent upon one thing. Now, if you watch the way I operate, I use everything, dude. Like it's free, right? So if I use California. Yeah. I don't live here anymore. I lived here for 25 years. Now I'm just going to come use it. I'm just going to abuse the state, all their resources, come in, consume everything beautiful about the state, and then I'm going to leave. So same thing about YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat. I want to use those channels, put communication on them, get attention, okay? Communicate back and forth with those people, and hopefully provide something of value.
Did Louisiana have any impact? I mean, obviously you wanted to get out of there because you moved, but did growing up in Louisiana have any impact on who you turned into today?
I think the bigger impact was my dad died when I was 10. That was a huge, like, you know, when you look up to this guy that's going to provide you with what you think is the road to success, you know, I think Cole says, who's going to show me how to get off the sideline? Who's going to give me the guidelines to get off the sidelines? And I thought my dad was, and then gone.
But what was that time in your life like?
It was brutal, man.
And how did you end up putting the dots together to get to where you are today? Because a lot of people just hear that and they see you today. And I think it's hearing about, just in a short kind of example of like, how do you make that transition to taking control of your life when most people would use that as an excuse and a story to tell themselves for the rest of their life. They'll tell themselves that that's the story for why they couldn't be successful.
My parents my dad had made it into the middle class. It's probably one of the reasons I'm so like energized about the middle class myth. He had made it, and then when he died, I watched my mom in terror, financial terror, every day. By the time I'm 16, I was so angry that I told my mom, I said, one day I'm going to get rich. I think there was this grind going on. I'm going to get rich one day. I'm going to get so freaking rich that I can help other people. Because really what I wanted was I wanted somebody to help me. So I went to college, man, to get the map. But there was no map. There was no mentor. There was no teacher. There was no educator. It was all just literally, without offending anybody that's going to school, it was all a waste of time. When I told my mom I'm going to get rich one day, don't know how though, life went straight downhill after that.
So you went to college, found out it was basically a lie.
Well, from 16 to 25, I was doing drugs every day. I'm doing drugs every single day. So I'm 25, I get off of drugs, and I look up and I say, man, I got to get my game together here. And I was in a sales job at the time.
I knew it was all coming back to sales. That's
I hated it. That's what people don't know about me.
The king of sales hated sales.
The king of sales. And I am the Lord of sales, okay? I am the God.
Yep,
Brian Tracy will tell you, Tom Hopkins. Even the guys that I used to learn from, well, they do this now. But when I was 25, I just made a real commitment. I'm going to become a master at this thing that I hate, by the way.
Yeah. Just because it would allow you to have the money to make the choices?
Dude, I didn't have any choices. Nobody was hiring. There was nothing else I could do. I looked around. I don't want to use drugs anymore. And I'm like, I'm just going to focus on this one thing I hate. And that is one thing that I will give myself a pat on the back for. Like, if you can put your ego aside, you know, when you want to turn your life around, put your ego aside and say, hey, I got this one thing in front of me. I don't even like it. If you can learn to get great at something you hate, I guarantee you will have greatness in your lifetime.
Just paint a picture for us. What is a typical day in the life of Grant Cardone like?
I try to beat the sun up. Sun comes up over that mountain right there, so I try to wake up before it does. And my vitamin is the future, right? So I live on a future. And then I try to get a workout in every morning, something. I try to get my body working. I believe that if I can control when I wake up and my body, the use of my body, if I can control the 5'8", then I have some chance of controlling 3 feet in front of me.
So personal branding is one of the big things I focus on with entrepreneurs and business owners. You've obviously gone from business owner to now a personality brand. So you understand the value of building a personal brand and the power that's done for you. I know you talk about a lot of the times how you were successful, but then once you started to have an omnipresent strategy and be everywhere, your success, 10x, right?
Yeah.
So how do you effectively build a personal brand, or what are some of the tips you have to build a successful personal brand?
You know, just be yourself, you know? I mean, I don't do it with, there's a lot of ways to do it. All you gotta do is go to Instagram and see how people are doing it. Guys are in the gym lifting weights. Another guy's showing his Lambos.
But I think a lot of them, some of the people are very successful, but most of them aren't. Just because you have followers doesn't mean you have money. The attention and the awareness.
Well, now we got to go back and say, well, how does somebody define success? I don't personally define success
by followers and likes.
By followers or likes, but I mean, without money.
Yeah.
So if money doesn't come with it, I mean, no offense to anybody. I know a lot of people will hate this comment, but if money doesn't come with it, I don't personally count it as successful, okay? Now, I have 2 beautiful kids, beautiful wife. I mean, they're awesome, right? But if you said to me, could you be successful with just a beautiful wife that you love and 2 beautiful kids? I'd be like, no, that'd be stupid. Why would I want to settle for just a wife and 2 beautiful kids? I want the whole package. So for me, like, if you're on social media and you're not making money, you're doing something wrong. Like if you have a bunch of followers and you're not making money, well, then you're doing something wrong, right? If you have a great product and nobody's buying it, then you're doing something wrong. Money should show up right away at the bank. If you're going to events, to a motivational event, and you're coming back and on Wednesday you're not making money, you could be getting the wrong data. Because just jumping up and down, just being excited, if it works, it should convert at the bank.
Awesome, I love that. Simple advice. Grant Cardone in the house, letting us come by the Malibu. We got to do like a
Malibu,
MTV Cribs, like check out the house.
Dude, take them through here, man. Let's roll.
Thanks for having us come by, Grant.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it.